Oh, really? Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of us go there. That's right. Yeah. So, what is your name? Yirmiyahu. And yours? Elazar. So you're all local here in the valley? People? Yeah. Oh, Rabbi, very nice. So anyway, just a grateful opportunity to be here with
Yeah,
Reb
these are the
Zev.
students I now attract. I got Baruch who talks and talks and talks.
Right. But I just want to say that it's a very special opportunity to me to have a reunion. It's really a reunion for myself and Professor Garber because we know each other like Reb Zev says, 50 years or 50 years
That's right.
plus years, and of course we met in the shul, of course, and I visited the school many times.
And we also disagreed.
Right, very often.
We once
But-
had a big fight in the classroom. I said, we did. I said, this is my classroom.
But I think the most memorable thing that I remember that Professor Garber did was really to bring Rabbi Meir Kahana to LA, and when he brought him to LA, I came right away, and it was a very important lesson to be learned. I know that I had first met Rabbi Kahana in a very roundabout way. I was in New York, living in Brooklyn, and I was looking to advance my career, and I saw an advertisement in the Jewish press for to be a rabbi at a shul. So I was a little young then, a little more ambitious. I tried. At the end, I realized I wasn't old enough for it yet, but I said I'll call up and ask for an interview. So I called up, and the man answered the phone. It was a shul in Howard Beach in Queens, and he said, let me ask you some questions. So I said, certainly. And I said, this is what I learned, and this is where I learned, and this is what my convictions are, and how I envision the opportunity to be a shepherd for a shul and so forth. And he said, you sound very fine. And it was wonderful talking to you. I'd like to set you up for a meeting with the board of directors. So I said, well, I thought you were the board of directors. Who are you? So he said, I'm the rabbi. I said, you're the rabbi? Why would you be interviewing me to take your job? I don't get it. He says, I love my congregation. I want to stay here, but I really can't. And you sound like a good replacement. And they asked me to help them find a replacement. I said, why are you leaving the job? And he said, well, because I have a new career. I'm starting an organization called the Jewish Defense League, JDL. So if you read up on it, it was an organization committed to defending the elderly Jews who were being attacked by anti-Semites. And it was, and I said, well, what is your name? And he said, my name is Rabbi Meir Kahana. I said, the Meir Kahana? He said, don't make that big deal of it, but I happen to be Meir Kahana. Well, why can't you do both? He said, I can't do it. I've got to devote all my time to the JDL to be able to develop that Jews should have pride in being Jewish. And he got a lot of people together, mostly non-religious people who had no religious background or religious training. And he said, let me teach you about Judaism and how proud you should be to be a Jew. And you should feel the pride of a heritage of 3,500 years and the teachings of the Torah and so forth. And he was doing this absolutely fantastic job. So at the end, I didn't take the job in Howard Beach. I decided to come to LA. Anyways, I came to LA, and I was teaching at EMEC, and they threw me out because I was too religious. But anyways, I had a nice time. I met a lot of nice people in Shaare Zedek, and Al Levine was part of that crowd in those days, and the lovely people, and Reb Zev, Professor Garber, and we all had, young people, we all young in those days, young congregation, and Rabbi Sugarman, blessed memories of Chevron Bracha, was really a wonderful.
Has he passed on?
He passed on, yeah. It was a wonderful, wonderful Rav. He had exerted such leadership, and very quiet, though. He wasn't a very dynamic fellow, but he was very, very just someone you could bank on, someone you could feel you could trust. It was really great to have him as a rabbi. Anyway, so and I'm growing in my career here as a teacher. I went to the high school in the city, Rambam, and then some years later, no, many know you must be years later. Those were the 70s. You brought him in here. You brought Kahane in the 80s. No, in the mid 70s. Mid 70s. So in the mid 70s, Professor Garber brings Rabbi Kahana. Well, I go hear him because I've always believed in him and always felt I read his books and I believed in his teachings. And the teachings were Jews, don't be ashamed of who you are. Don't feel like you're second place. Jewish people should feel pride in who they are. They're just as good as anybody, and we have the heritage to prove it. And we have the heritage of which we gave the whole world, all the moral values and all the teachings of the Torah and all the teachings of spirituality from Hashem. Be proud of who you are. That resonated with me. I love that stuff. And he's there, and Professor Garber brings him in, gives this fiery speech, magnificent speech, and Professor Garber introduces him. Well, you remember what you said?
About Kahana?
Yeah.
No, Kahana was my guest in this classroom. No, Rav Kahana and I.
How you introduced him?
How did I what?
I'll remind you how you introduced him. You said, ladies and gentlemen, I give you today Rabbi Meir Kahana, who could very possibly be the very next Prime Minister of Israel.
Okay. All right, let me just make one comment on this because
that was some intro.
I probably might have said that. However, a few years later, in 1978 or 79, before 2,000 people in a men's gymnasium.
That's right, that's correct.
Okay.
2,000 people.
One second, I'll tell you what's going on here, and I'm not going to be an embarrassment, don't worry. All right, if he's talking about that incident there, it was not Rabbi Meir Kahana. What happened on that, Megan? It's okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I made a mistake.
All right.